What is your wedding ceremony exit strategy? Hey guys, and welcome back to South Asian Wedding Guru. My name is Amy Rigetti, and I am your host for this podcast. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about what do you do after your wedding ceremony if you're a South Asian Indian bride? Well, the question is, what do you not do? Because a lot of clients don't realize that after the end of a Hindu Indian wedding ceremony, what happens is usually the groom and the bride come to the front of the mandap, and then the priest kind of announces them. And then a lot of times, if they don't have a wedding planner, they haven't really thought about the exit strategy. And so I will always ask my clients, what is your exit strategy to leave post ceremony? Because some clients will do shoes, some clients will take blessings from their grandparents, and then they'll just kind of stand there. And then that is just asking for everybody to come up and wish you, bless you. If we hit a super traditional South Indian ceremony, they will actually return to the stage, and every single guest and their families will come up and bless them with rice before they actually can leave the ceremony site. This is very pertinent information to know and have before you start planning out your exit strategy. I tell clients all the time, this can go one of three ways. One, you exit in a Western style. So after the priest announces you, you guys come down, you take blessings from your grandparents, if that's what you want to do, and then you keep staying together and you come back and you just exit just as you were exiting a Western wedding. Let people throw petals, let people do whatever to bless you, and then you go ahead and exit the aisle. And then usually you will loop back around while guests are told what to do next as far as leaving, heading to lunch, ceremony is over, has concluded, and then of course be able to return for cocktails. They just give them a little bit of instructions as to what the rest of the day looks like while you are looping back in order to start those family pictures. That's one way. The second way is if you have obligatory family photos that you are going to do, we need to talk about this. I would still exit in a Western style, but when you come back, people have been made aware that you are coming back and that you will be taking pictures, and you need to know whether or not you've allocated a list so that we can let people go to lunch, or we are going to let everybody know if they wish to have pictures with you, please stay back. The couple will be coming back to the stage and you will be able to line up and take pictures as groups with the bride and groom. Or if you do not plan on entertaining that, because it gets crazy really quick. I always call it the Santa line. You know, if you guys have ever gone to the mall or have a niece, nephew, or sibling younger than you, and you do the Santa Claus thing and you stand in line, that's exactly what it is. Each person comes, you take a picture, and they move on. Well, if you don't want to do it that way either, now you need to come up with a list of individuals, assign numbers, and be able to tell them, look, you're number 5, you're number 15, you're number 32, and you need to decide if you are letting people leave. If you have an amazing coordination team, the best part about this is usually your coordination team will coordinate half of them going to lunch first while you finish off the first half. And then the first half will finish pictures and the second half knows they're coming back after they've eaten to take those pictures, depending on how long that list is. But there is a strategy to this. And if you have a plan of action underway going into your wedding day, you will be the talk of the town because people will be like, oh my gosh, do you remember so-and-so's wedding? They had the most efficient family formal execution list ever. Like, I've never been to a wedding and experienced that type of coordination at an event. This is not a situation where only your photo team shines, but also your coordination team. And if you have no coordination, this is where you will shine because it will allow for people to realize that you were able to make your way through these photos and not feel stressed. There was no chaos that ensued. And you got every single picture that you could imagine getting, and you're not obligated to continue doing this for the whole entire day throughout the reception because people feel like they attended your wedding and they got a picture and they're happy. And so you don't feel that you have to do the reception greetings in addition to, taking these family formal pictures after the wedding. And a lot of times there are people who come to the wedding that can't make it to the reception. So people will often think, oh, well, I'll get it at the reception. Sometimes you do not have people coming to the reception that have come to your ceremony. So you really need to think that through before you begin your exit strategy, because these are all part of these family formals as you begin thinking, what is my exit strategy on the wedding day. So you're going to come in, you have to remember whether or not you've talked to your cousins about this shoe thing, right? Because this is the one thing that people are like, well, when do we do it? Are we doing it now? Do we wait? Are we doing it when we come back? Are we going to let people go to lunch and just do it with immediate, like bridal party and family members? Or do we want everybody to be part of this? There are lots of things to talk about prior to your exit strategy when it comes to your wedding ceremony and leaving and getting out of that site. We have had couples also who don't do any pictures whatsoever post ceremony because there's simply not enough time to transition over the ballroom and allow for an hour of those photos. So if that's you and you're doing all your pictures on the front end, these are things that you should definitely make people aware of, because I have been in situations where people have been absolutely devastated that they're not getting pictures with the couple post ceremony because they just left. And people will sit around waiting saying, are they coming back? We actually wanted to get a picture with them. And then I have to stand there like the bad person who obviously is the Caucasian that looks like she has no clue how these Indian weddings work, because people are like, usually they take pictures after. And I'm like, yeah, I know. But this was a plan that the bride and groom had actually made with their families because there just wasn't enough time, but they'll definitely make every attempt to take pictures during the reception. That is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people who have come to your wedding and simply wanted one picture. They're thinking that they've gifted you. They're thinking that, they're going to get this picture to prove that they were in attendance, and then to be let down by the photographer that you guys have left the ceremony to begin getting ready for the reception is definitely not an easy thing to have to say, especially to South Indians. They take that stuff really tough. Really tough. So I know I wouldn't want to tell my mother-in-law that she wasn't getting a picture with one of our cousins after their wedding. So just think it through. The exit strategy will prove to be an important one as you move into leaving your ceremony and deciding, do I want those beautiful pictures of everybody throwing something on me? And then at the end, we, quickly kiss, or we're just like, yes, and we leave out. Do I want my whole family to be part of the Vidaii, right? Because some people do not do a Vidaii and some people do a Vidaii. So do you do that Vidaii immediately after the ceremony? And then that way everybody's there and then you go right to the car and you loop back. Well, by then it's really difficult because you've lost people to lunch. You've lost people to the Vidaii. You've lost people that weren't paying attention, that family pictures are going to happen again. So we always tell people, try to figure that out, because that also can incur a cost. If you have a 2-hour lunch and you're keeping your photographer there all the way to the end to do the Vidaii, you got to remember that you cannot go and start getting ready and attend only 15 minutes of lunch. You have to stay throughout lunch, do the Vidaii, and then head back. So time is of the essence when it comes to you thinking about your exit strategy and how you intend to get away from all those guests who are waiting to be able to say, bless you both, and may you have the best marriage ever, and be able to give you a hug, a little side kiss, and of course, get their picture taken with you. Hopefully you can respect that part of the process a little bit, and be sure to tell them, let them know what the plans are. Even if it's a matter of you don't want to do pictures afterwards, but that you say, hey guys, in lieu of taking individual pictures with everybody, we would love for everybody to come up to the mandap. We're going to take one full group picture and then we are going to head to lunch. That's also a great way. If you're like, I don't really need these pictures at the mandap. I already took the pictures with my immediate family and we're not really going to use them or do anything with them. But in lieu of that, let's go ahead and do this beautiful picture with everybody at the mandap. That's a good way to walk away from it all too. And believe it or not, even if you had, 200 guests at your wedding and we planned that properly, you would be able to get a beautiful formal picture of consider it your yearbook pictures, girls, and get that picture done and be able to say, okay, we did a picture with everybody. You'll also be able to open up the dance floor with a big picture of everybody too, if you didn't get all those pictures post ceremony as well. Think to discuss this stuff with your creative teams, your coordinators. Of course, you're going to need to discuss this with your decorators as well, so that you've created enough space to be able to layer those family pictures. These are very, very important things to consider as you guys move into the planning process. I love being able to have a planning session talk with my clients that have time. Granted, not all clients have this much time to engage with their vendors, but I promise if you do, it will go a long way for making sure that you have the best wedding day possible and setting the tone for the wedding weekend itself. There you guys have it. I am so glad that I'm able to just spend this little bit of time with you guys every week. And I'm looking forward to getting to know each one of you. And the only way to do that is to have some comments in these boxes below. If you guys are out there still looking for a wedding photographer, Rigetti's.com, fill out our inquiry form and definitely spend some time talking with me about your timeline. No obligations whatsoever, but it will give you some insight on things just to think about leading up to the wedding day itself. And should you decide to hire us for your wedding day, you got a pretty awesome, amazing team of photographers too, right?